different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Welcome everyone to Living the Mystical Life Daily Webcast. Once again, we are continuing the webcast to promote the Living the Mystical Life Daily Life, the 6-week online course that is still available for you to begin practicing. Now, I'm Andrew Bartzis, and I'm going to show you how to consciously apply the sacred art of living the mystical life daily. That is my purpose for this webcast. This unique I am being Andrew Bartzis, many of you know under the Galactic Historian, through contract revocations, through ceremony, through the radio shows, the interviews that I've done. Each of you have come here for your own individual reason. And what I'm teaching in the Living the Mystical Life Daily is the out loud, name it to claim it system, without giving your power away. I'm also going to be answering those questions that you have. I am putting my time, effort, and energy out for those of you who want to learn to live your mystical life daily. Now, for a lot of you, this is not your first webcast. And what I want to mention here is that if you've not succeeded in the past, haven't been able to apply the material, haven't even opened the advanced heart meditation, or you have, but haven't recorded it in your own voice, it's okay. We all have subtle saboteurs within our frequencies. And today is understanding expectations and saboteurs. We're going to get to that later in the show. And for those of you who have been around a while and have begun to see when you truly apply the sacred discipline and you begin to maintain it, change comes. But for a lot of you, it's too much change too fast. Many of you aren't allowing the processing and the downtime so that there's joy that refills you. Oftentimes, information overloads you. That also keeps you from success. We live in a world of information everywhere. I call it the global infrastructure of distraction. One must learn how to shut off the great rivers of information that are coming into your seen and unseen world. By learning awareness-based training through self-discernment, you can understand what frequencies, what giant rivers of information are pouring into you. If you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed on a daily basis for whatever other systems you've done, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. You just need the right person to explain this to you. I know others have told you that if you want it, you have to go to India or to a cave or a mystery school to find the ends of the earth, to find spiritual enlightenment and become your own master. What I'm offering here is how to become your own self-illuminated master in the concrete jungle with the a la carte system that is your placebo-based reality belief engine. Whatever is the other ways is their way. What I'm trying to impart to is your way, through your experience, through your level of awareness that does not overload you and does not underload you. Okay? Everyone has a part inside us that is known as the saboteur, the one that doesn't allow us to change. I want each of you in the audience to just go into your mind and find any of those moments where you didn't take the leap and you've looked back and said, I should have just taken that leap. We all have that inner saboteur, that insurrectionist within inside us. And that's the part in you that wants you to fail at doing whatever you're doing. It is a program that was created within yourself during times of depression, regression, or obsession, or lack of ability to see, hear, feel, and understand the love that was flowing through you. That part of you that doesn't benefit from succeeding, because it would mean it would die, it would go away if you did succeed. You would no longer need that program. So I want everyone in this moment right now to visualize a big pink piece of paper And I want you to write on it, inner saboteur, you're fired. There is no severance pay. Immediately now, you are fired and removed from my frequencies in all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes, and all other frequencies of you that would reduplicate a saboteur energy are now also reduced to zero minus infinity. I want each of you to do that daily for the next several weeks, because you have decades of the saboteur energy within you. You must begin to build up the spiritual endurance to understand that it's not a struggle to succeed. It is a journey to success. And what I want you to know at this moment and now is you too have a chance to dream and make change. By firing that saboteur each and every day, you mean it, and you don't rehire him because there's no one else to take the job. You will understand how to make dreaming change a part of your world that is impactful. I want to show you how to do it during this webcast. My goal for this webcast is to help two types of people. For those of you who are beginners, you'll learn what it means to have conscious application of the sacred and what it really means in daily life changes. For those of you who are more experienced with my teachings, you will learn more in-depth understanding and the ability to see old shells, limitations, and perception deception filters, or inception filters, things we lie about in ourselves. Over the years of doing radio shows, interviews, and all other types of media-based entertainment, I have had my share of unique beings that have come and tried to influence me, positive and negative. One of the stories I want to share with you is from a number of years back. A retired gentleman, sold cars, had a whole bunch of car industries, and been retired for 10 plus years, lost his wife to cancer, found my material, and believed that he was going to take me all the way up, paid for private sessions, and then made a pitch. And then this person proved to be nothing more than a spiritual used car salesman. Over and over again, until finally I had to put my distance between me and this gentleman, because he didn't care about the material or the person that was me. He only saw the dollars that he could make, just as when he was a used car salesman. Now, I relate this story for a reason. Living the mystical life daily is something that is going to continue for years and years and years to come. And there are all sorts of people that want to come and put their influence in it. If you are unable to do the teachings in any way, shape, or form, you will have no opportunity in living the mystical life daily to advance it. For it is all self-funded, all self-created, all self-produced with my own company. To be at this level, you can no longer be a poser in any way, shape, or form. I use this story for a second reason. That is not the first person that has tried that, the second, third, or fourth. You, as individual people that have come to this webcast, don't always understand the business behind this business, of what it takes to put your material forward without limitations behind it. You have Gaia TV that now limits their producers, their people, their content creators of what they can and can't say. I can say whatever I want on my own show. And it'll always remain what I want, so you can have your individual aha moments. You don't see me selling cars. You don't see me selling pills. You don't see me doing all of those other things that those at this level do. Part of my backstory is I was a limo driver and a construction worker, grew up in the restaurant industry. I have seen every type of personality in volume over the years. Many of you who come to these webcasts are in your own business, spiritual business, healers, and you want to know what it takes to get to the next level. It takes you knowing your own story to produce your own material, and then to have an infrastructure that can take your material and spread it to people. That is the essence of this. Part of my journey into spreading the material was having a viral Galactic History series, 20-part episode that was originally supposed to be paid episodes, but ended up going out one camera free. That was my initial impact, combined with the other shows that I'd done that amplified my impact onto the internet and to the way people search, creating keywords that had never been created before. My last count was about 700 keywords that were solely created by me in 2013. Do I want to own them? Doesn't matter. I am glad the industry picked it up and used it. I don't care who coined the phrase. The phrases had to be repeated over and over and over and over again. Living the mystical life daily is repetition with illumination. I share these backstories with you to understand the person sitting in this seat, the journey that I went through to be here to present to you a system that works, a system compared to none others that are out there. The feedback that we get, the testimonials that we'll get, come from those who are practitioners of dozens of different schools of learning. And when they come to this material, they see the simplicity of its style and the complexity of its practice. The only complexity is what level you want to choose. That is the nature of the system. It's about you claiming your power back. And in these stories, I claim power back over people who don't understand and project energy. This is a seen and unseen show. The unseen world of this show has its own formula with all the other business people living within it as a conscious application of interactive energies which I perceive. And now I'm translating to you how you, individual business members, individual healers, can get over your own expectation of what it takes for you to run your own business, for you to have your own insights of how to get your information out there, how to get your skill set learned about, to discover the inner conflicts that are in you that stop you from success. Okay? When you have results, those are results achieved. When you have transformation, you have an experience. Many of you who are going down the healer's path have learned your healing modalities, but cannot get more than 2 or 3 clients in a month, in 6 months. This is where you have to go into that inner saboteur who says, why? Why can't I function at the level that Andrew's at? I believe you can. It comes down to knowing that inner saboteur. And the stories that I shared, at any moment I could have gone along with what people were saying and followed the money, but I didn't. I stayed true to my authentic self. I stayed true to the point I have a full self-manifested studio and the entire thing that goes with it, the infrastructure and the business that I created. You too can do that. It isn't Galactic History skills that paid the business bills. It isn't Galactic History skills that did the research on what studio equipment to use. It isn't Galactic History skills that did anything of what it takes to maintain a team. The human does that. The human. So many of you don't feel human because you don't get joy here in the now. Living the mystical life daily is about being able to do it happy. I know many of you do or do not want to become healers, teachers, speakers, psychics, or gurus. Sacred discipline still applies no matter what you're doing, whether it's being a homemaker, college student, business leader, healer, or whatever may be on your life journey. In the olden days, you'd have to isolate yourself in caves or mystery schools to learn this, to learn to apply it. In today's world, it's impossible to perform ancient rituals and practices in the concrete jungle with townhouses next to each other or in the big city. In this era, we must learn to blend all the teachings in an a la carte system of whatever works at the moment. And that is this living the mystical life daily. Now, for those of you who do not have the advanced heart meditation, the sanctuary for all souls, and the shaman's death. Think in your mind right now, do you have them? As soon as you go to the front page of andrewbartzis.com, directly in the middle is a big giant block that says sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for more information. That is where you get that. If you have not reached out for those 3 teachings yet, why are you here? You're here because you want to feel the frequency. You're here, you want to make the change. The next level is telling that inner saboteur, this is just an email. Why don't I sign up for it? Why haven't I opened it up? Why haven't I printed it out so it can be in my functional reality? Fire the inner saboteurs right now. Okay? And for those of you who have already done that, give yourself 3 pats on the back. Because you did do that. You have learned that the inner saboteur can stop you. Every day is an opportunity to choose to live the mystical life daily. The power of choice is great and grand, and it is your legacy to yourself. It is your mantle of self-responsibility to use your own awareness syncopated with your presence. This blueprint makes it easy and simple because it will change your perspective and give you a fresh point of view of how to perceive this reality, the living the mystical life daily reality, where mystical experiences are rated like a slot machine winning. So many of you are still on the nipple of the instant gratification of the mystical experience. Think of it like a 5-cent slot machine, and you win $5. Ooh, so many of you are still want to win the $35 or the $150 on your mystical life, pulling the wheel of each meditation. Doesn't work like that. But sometimes it does. As part of the carrot and stick process your own inner programs have to create moments of defeat within yourself. You got your $5 mystical experience. It was just a bag of French fries that are ephemeral and gone. If you don't record it and see it as a victory, that is on you. This system has worked all over the country, all over the world. It is a system of self-transformation. So we're going to go ahead and take our first caller.
Hello?
Hello, Julia. How you doing?
Hi, I'm really good. It's great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, too. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Rotterdam in Holland.
Rotterdam in Holland. Yeah, we love our out of country callers. How are you doing today?
I'm really, really good. I heard about you 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. My boyfriend he introduced me to your show, and it's amazing. We've done so many contract revocations, and it's crazy to be talking to you right now.
Very, very cool. So how have the contract revocations helped you?
Well, the contract revocations really helped me get a different perspective on the way that we live life today. For example, so many things the sacred feminine contract revocation.
Yep.
That's something that a lot of things were pointed out to me in that contract revocation that I never crossed my mind before about how the society that we live in today is backwards in a lot of ways. And so yeah, we use them to get rid of certain things in our house or to try to cleanse ourselves, try to feel better. And it's something really beautiful.
Have you tried to record them in your own voice and listen to them?
I have not, but I know that my boyfriend has. Yes.
The next level here, when you're ready to take the personal investment time, you'll begin to hear your own voice and literally understand the subtleties of your own voice. And the biggest goal here is, can you pass on the essence of the teachings and joy to yourself that's listening? It's not a hard task. If you put passion behind it, it will pass it on to your future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna, I'll definitely do that.
Have you done the Union and Communion Consciousness Strike?
No, I haven't.
Now, that's another one you should take a look into, especially for clearing your environment. It puts a tremendous amount of potent life force into those words that can saturate an environment, that can give you extended times of well-being in that little bubble.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So what questions did you have to ask for Living the Mystical Life Daily webcast?
So I'm trying to get my boyfriend to come live in Europe. He is in Peru right now. He is kind of living the a lifestyle where he is far away from cities and far away from all the noise. And I totally respect that. I'm just wondering if you have any type of tools or advice that you can give him.
Sure. He's got to learn how to be the modern shaman in the concrete jungle. That is the nature of this class that I'm teaching.
Yes,
the reason I'm going to be doing, 30 more shows over the next 30 weeks is so that people like your boyfriend, who have to understand the monks have to come out of the mountains and put up signs that say open for business. If not, no one is going to succeed, and there is no great awakening until the monks come out of the mountains and put up signs that say open for business. And that is learning how to operate in the concrete jungle, suburban or urban jungle, so on and so forth, with the energies that are there, the clearing techniques that are already available, and the new techniques that will be created so an ancestral unity can be created in your bubble of reality. Most people don't want to do it in a backyard on a quarter-acre property because of the compression of everyone else. To me, in my mind, if you have that form of compression, you can make a more potent bubble. It's not about if your neighbors practice or don't practice. It's how you practice and what energy you bring to the very edges of your property to say, this is my bubble, and you can't cross it over because here's my defined rules, borders, policies, and procedures, because none of the negative entities can do anything without your what? Acceptance of it or tacit consent of it. Tacit consent is allowing your awareness to something come into your reality, and it's sit and squat on your reality and you just ignore it. As long as you enforce your boundaries, rules, and procedures physically and energetically, no matter where you are, even the center of New York City, you can do it. People have been doing this since the dawn of cities. It is possible. It is just a triathlon of an experience to get there. So you must raise your frequency. Your boyfriend is out in the jungle. Naturally, his frequency is much higher, and there's an innate fear inside him that his frequency will lower. When in fact, he can call upon the power of the jungle to give him the density of the trees so that he does not have to lower frequency, but can learn to adapt and adjust, just like a plant moving from one side of the world to another. That happens all the time.
I thank you so much. I can't believe how perfect this webcast is for me right now, because it's definitely the kind of stuff that I need to hear. And I want him to hear it as well. I think he's also just afraid of not knowing what kind of a job he can possibly have in a city if he's so used to living in the middle of nowhere.
Because he still only sees the slave jobs that are that were projected at him. He doesn't see himself as an urban or suburban shaman with a built-in audience and paid people that will say, I need your experience because my house is haunted. My kid goes to school and comes back, mentally and psychically beat up every day. Can you make them a protection badge or a pouch? All sorts of things. He's just got to get over charging money for it. That's why you come into the concrete jungle. The trees exchange energy with you every day. They just don't use dollar bills. In the concrete jungle, they use dollar bills. It's okay. There's all those people out there that say you should never charge for anything. You know what I tell those people? You don't have a clue of how the real world works, seen and unseen. That's lack consciousness, expecting everything given away for free. If everything was given away for free, guess what? Nothing would ever happen because no one would value the teachings. Without valuing these teachings in your own personal heart from the experience that you get, nothing happens. Nothing. It's
amazing what you're saying right now.
You know,
So
the next level for your boyfriend, he's got to
Mhm.
create a menu of services. What does he do out there that can be done here that doesn't sacrifice his moral codes? Okay? For
Mhm.
giving the wrong information or the right information or whatever it is that can bring balance to energetic worlds here. Comes
Yeah.
down to that, balancing the two worlds. And there are plenty of personalities that will exchange energy for that, even in dollar bills. That's why I'm doing this webcast. That's why I'm giving 30 shows of coaching on how to do this system, how to apply it to you, with 15 hours of free material for you to practice, and a 6-week course you can invest in if you want to take it to the next level. Transformation ultimately comes from letting go of your expectations. And that's where your boyfriend has to truly look. What is he expecting to come back? And then clear those expectations, because they're just a limitation. Limiting him from what? Connecting to the forest. He can connect to the forest 10,000 miles away, even if it's on another world. Deep down inside, he knows that. But when you're in the fog of the concrete jungle, you don't hear the whispers of the trees.
Mhm. I think he feels like he's blocked inside, so he wants to give these services that you talk about, but he feels like he's blocked inside, like he can't awaken that inner
He's a chicken.
Yeah, that inner something to be able to give advice to people.
He's a
or
chicken
to
shit. He's chicken right now. He is just scared. Fear. Fear of what? I'm going to give him the wrong information and I'm going to collect dollars from it, or I'm going to give him the right information and they're not going to do anything with it. I face the same thing, and every healer out there since the dawn of healing has faced the same thing: confidence in the self.
Yes.
Okay? You're out there living in the jungle, you learn something. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna take a week. He wants to really reflect on this right now. So he's gonna take a week and take ayahuasca, which he has gotten from the jungle. And so, but he's taken it before and it hasn't done anything in the past. It hasn't awakened any inner or given him any answers. So that's why.
Is he brewing it on his own?
He's with a family in the jungle that does brew it often. So he was brewing it with them.
Okay.
And he's gonna take it.
Well, there are times that people don't have any experiences on ayahuasca for many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Or he did have an experience and he just won't remember it because of something in his soul that he's more than likely trying it too early in his life force, or just hasn't healed something that's still in his body that the ayahuasca can't even purge until he has his own revelation of who he is, and what he's doing with his own life as this I am being who isn't controlled by any other I am beings. His mother and father super controlling?
No, not really. But they accept his lifestyle.
No, they don't.
They just wish that
they
go.
No, they don't. Be brutally honest here. No, they don't. They're providing a fake energy to him for him to go and do what he's doing, and he knows it. They're not truly behind what he's doing.
He hasn't seen them in 5 years.
Exactly. That's proven right there, right?
Yeah,
that's a wound. That's a wound he's got to get over, and it's actually going to block him from having ayahuasca experiences. And for everyone else out there, you think ayahuasca cures it all? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If you haven't done the inner work, the plant medicine won't speak to you, and you'll just be vomiting for 10 hours. And that's your experience. Okay?
Right.
That's your experience, vomiting. And then you're like, nothing happened. Yeah, you vomited for 10 hours. That's what happened.
Right. Yeah, he needs to heal that. He's from Uruguay originally, and he doesn't want to go back home because he's afraid to face everybody from home. They'll all judge him for being out in the jungle. And now it's been so long that, like, the longer it goes on that he doesn't go home, the worse it gets.
That's why the medicine won't speak to him, because this is all ancestral.
He won't.
He is
doesn't
repeating
even
a family curse that is ancient upon ancient upon ancient. I'm walking away from my home ancestors, not acknowledging them, and coming to a new place and accepting this new place as my ancestors without honoring the past as the ancestors, well, no matter what traumas they created.
No.
Okay. It's a harsh one to deal with. It's a curse. Over and over and over again, passed on from lineage to lineage to lineage. I see it all the time. I cannot tell you how many people have called me from the jungle on sat phones to have sessions with me right after or during their ayahuasca sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Yeah.
Because nothing's happening.
Right. So going back to Uruguay right now would be the first step before even trying to come to Europe. No.
He is in a. We're going to save that for like that type of information for a Saturday show, but a Tuesday or Saturday. But he is in a situation where he's got to nurture and self-heal and look at the shit he doesn't want to look at. And as long as he continues to not look at it and heal it, it is going to remain in this frequency as a blockage. And that's the nature of the curse. Get over the giant hump and clear sailing, or the hump's always going to be there. It's not an unclimbable mountain at all. It just looks like it is.
Mm.
All right, darling, I must move on. Thank you so much. The 3 secrets. We kind of touched on the 3 secrets with this last caller. The 3 secrets to becoming your own self-illuminated master. The first secret is, and I got a drum roll, expectations creates your limitations. And we often argue for our limitations based on our expectations. When we don't realize that we're doing it to ourselves, we have to control and change it. That's the nature of expectations, creating limitations that we then begin to argue for our limitations. And then the last caller's boyfriend has a lot of arguments for his limitations of why he can't do X, X, or X. So all of you that are out there right now, whether it's your phone or a piece of paper or your computer, I want you to type out how you argue for your own limitations. Here's the question. If you were to go right now and start your own business, do what it is that you wanted, what are the internal debates that come up that tell you that you can't do it? Are they 1 sentence long? Are they 2 sentences long? For most people out there, it's 2-sentence statements that are your self-defeating statements that stop you from going anywhere. And when you truly learn to flush out all of your arguments for limitations, you will see how subtly your expectations are creating control so that the limitations can truly drain the essence out of you. So you don't see that you're doing it to yourself, that will to need and to control, to change it and not let it organically open up. So take that moment now and find what arguments for your limitations do you have. Go ahead and write them down. And then after that, I want you to write an argument for the positive for change. So every other time that these common arguments of no, I can't do it, no, I don't have the time, no, I won't have support, no, I can't do this right now, but in a month now I can do it because I got to save money. Begin to write the counter arguments. What you'll begin to discover is these arguments for limitations, that these expectations are a house of cards and tink, fall down right away when you give a little bit of energy back. Contemplate that. Becoming your own self-illuminated master is understanding this first secret. Expectation creates limitations, and we argue for our limitations based on our expectations. So we never realize how we are subtly sabotaging our own lives because of our subtle need to control and change everything that's out there. The second secret, dun 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 dun, our perception is we live in a world of duality. In actuality, we don't. We are a singularity that by perception lives in a duality. Before you were breathing as a living little baby, you were a fetus in the womb, surrounded by an amniotic sac full of fluid, and you didn't breathe oxygen in your lungs. You got oxygen in all of your fluid exchanges through the umbilical cord. And then you went through the birth process, where the embryonic sac broke, water flowed out, you came down the womb, the umbilical cord was cut. You may have been put on your mother's heart, you may have not. Life began breathing there. And there's where your perception of duality as an imprint began. Now, if you've ever been around babies, it is till they're 2, 3, or 4 that they are dreaming all the time. There is where the mother and father imprint the next layer of singularity versus duality, because they're trying to get your personality to come out. We are never in duality. We're always a singularity. It is just like fish eyes, only seeing this side and seeing this side. The third eye combines the two to the singularity. And that is what all of you are trying to learn now, is how to use that third eye as a perception-based tool of duality. And that's why your third eyes never open. The third eye reveal what? The singularity. Dun, dun, dun. The greatest secret upon your practice is dropping the expectations and understanding that your perception of the singularity cannot be led by an expectation of duality. And I want all of you to try to write down duality, singularity. 3 times. Duality, singularity, 3 times. Here's a little tool for you. Left eye, right eye. Left eye, duality, singularity. Duality, singularity. Close your left eye to duality, right eye to singularity. Vice versa, back and forth. And then when you stop, singularity. It's a perception technique that'll allow you to see that your left eye and right eye still act like fishes that are completely separate, that never cross over. Your third eye is the master input place of the singularity. The singularity can project vision that no one else can see but you in your own holographic reality. Here is why learning to stop expectations allows the third eye to give you the flow of data that is there, the flow of the singularity data. And now the third secret. It's not about what you think, it's about what you believe. Whether you believe in it or not, whatever you believe in is true if you truly believe in it. It then becomes your reality. It is the placebo-based reality engine that we work in. So spirituality, drop the expectations and arguing for your limitations. Begin to see the singularity and the duality for what it is, an imprint from birth that was then meant to bring out your personality through love, until you accepted time as the duality. You can practice duality, singularity training, and you can also understand that it's not about what you think, it's about what you believe. Thinking something, theorizing something, does not necessarily prove it. The way false information works, it gives just enough supposition for you to believe in, which then feeds your personality a frequency of energy that isn't loyalty and true to your internal self. And when it's not true to your internal self, we go through these degradations of singularity, duality, singularity, duality. The duality world fills in the blanks, creates a story, sometimes of paranoia, or sometimes of great inner goodness, or stories that really mean nothing. It's getting lost into our own mind trails, and the experience never validating and revalidating itself with the internal energy of, oh my God, this is real. But a story being read by a book. And that third secret, when you integrate the first two secrets, it's not about what you think, it's about what you believe. Whether you believe in it, whatever you believe in is your truth. And if you truly believe in it, it is your reality. Expectations create limitations we don't realize. And when you don't realize your own expectations, your mind will fill in the blank. What you believe in. Do you see the algorithm of relationship here? I want you all to write down that experience of duality, singularity. That's not about what you think, it's about what you believe. Because with the left eye, right eye, and belief-based thing, you can see the singularity for what it is. It's your choice. You too can have a career that you can leap into tomorrow or right at this moment by a choice in the enforcement of your belief. Exactly. It takes a leap of faith into yourself, into the living the mystical life daily process that is your own, through the out loud, name it to claim it system, where you don't give your power away. Simple as that. All the free teachings are there for you who are unable to afford the full course. And for those of you who have decided that you want the full course, it's there waiting for you with all of the other bonuses so that when you're ready to learn, it's all there. 30 hours, nearly 25 hours of material in the out loud, name it to claim it, shamanic fire system. You're probably thinking, do I have an expectation right now that I'm not aware of? Think in yourself. What are you expecting out of me right now? What are you expecting out of a course you haven't signed up for? What are you expecting out of the next meditation you're going to do? Your mind will plot 20 hours into the future, 20 days into the future. That's the cerebralness that we all have. Okay? I bet you every one of you have said this as part of your own expectation. If I can practice this 90 minutes a week, I can get there. Okay? That's an expectation. Doing 90 minutes and going back and looking at it eliminates the expectation and gives you a validated experience. Here's another expectation to creating a limitation. Only Andrew can do it this well. He's been doing it for years. He had an experience when he was 9. I've had thousands of people that have come to this with no previous experience and get all the way to their unique mystical experience. If someone else can do it, I can do it. I just have to learn to compete. For me, this is one of the most insidious expectations out there. Never compete with anyone else. You have already lost the game because it is about self-illumination. Each person self-illuminates the others. People may be guideposts or ways to measure where you are going and what you're doing, but you don't compete with them. I've shown you expectation creates the limitations. And that we're doing it ourselves. And that you want to control and exchange and change it. But in fact, you don't. The perception is we live in a world of duality, but actually it's not. The duality of expectation. Now I'm weaving something more dense in here. And for those of you who have been around a long time, when I weave these dense things in here, there's a huge teaching. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or the most advanced. Because this is about the 3 fundamentals that stop people from engaging sacred discipline, having their mystical experiencing, validating it, learning from it, relearning from it, and creating new ones on command that are not instant gratification, but are you within the flow of your own universal self-illuminated body, who is a frequency in a body, part of an experience now. That's right. Expectations create the duality. I hear so many realities shattering and glass ceilings going here. Can you take it farther? Can you see that your own expectation, based in your own belief, has created the duality bubble? How do you deprogram that as your own self-illuminated master? Start with the advanced heart meditation, and you imprint into this heart and pericardium the healing of time. You imprint into your blood and marrow that you shall have mystical experiences that you can come back with, fully aware, that do not harm or overwhelm you, so that you can continue to learn how to create more experiences that validate who you are, what you are, and begin to remove expectations and arguing for your limitations. When you imprint that into your blood, you are owning and commanding your own self now, so the perception of the duality isn't created through your expectational belief. I hear the reality's cracking over there. All right, we're going to take another call. As we have the...
Next caller is Avatal from Tel Aviv.
Avatal from Tel Aviv. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm very well.
Did you have a good time at the event?
I had a great time, actually. Much better than I could expect, as you said.
Wonderful. So what did you want to share with us about your experience at the event?
First, the feeling of really being at home. Like I saw you before only by videos, but when I saw you in life, I felt as if I know you. And as well other people that I didn't know before, even not in video. I felt quite a natural flow between, I didn't meet all the people, but between the people that I managed to get more close to. We felt like sisters and brothers, for real, and not in blood, but in soul or spirit. And there was a lot of allowance, and the energy was very, very high. And though I was sleeping probably most of the time you were speaking, I think many things they sank in. And as well, when I came back, I realized that some of my possibilities, for example, to speak with my higher self or my inner self, I don't know, became greater.
Beautiful.
And as well, I realized that when I was in Seattle, I looked at the mirror even before the conference, and I felt that I'm looking to myself much more beautiful. And I realized that there is much less stress in the air, and as well, coming back to Israel, I realized how dense it is here electrically.
Yes, how dense it is there electrically and bioelectrically.
Yeah. So it's quite a struggle, actually. I didn't felt that I'm struggling, but I realized that there are things which are much easier to do when you are a bit more relaxed.
Exactly.
But that's the reality I'm living in at the moment, or the fraud reality. And we actually started, that's part of my question, we started some ladies to speak between ourselves about the possibility of a community in North America or Canada, the Northwest, based on the fact that I heard that you were speaking in one of the last conversation before the seminar, that it's time for people to come back to live in communities.
That's right.
And I wonder what actually you meaning about it? What kind of community? Why now community? For which purpose?
Soul family members who know that their purpose is long-term years of endurance, that they must create a bubble of frequency and come together like big bunches of grapes in communities and enforce rules, borders, policies, and procedures at such an intense level that those that come into the community are the next grape on the vine. Mm-hmm. Because it is working together that unique brainstorming and heart space brainstorming happens that can create the next viral idea. When we work together, we are way more powerful than we are individually. Imagine everyone in that room, that the event room, if we all had, let's say, 5 weeks of living in a community, all brainstorming on a single event to change this world, a single project.
Yeah.
That's communities. Now, communities have to learn to live together. And it's with the soul family members, like you experienced those soul family unity. You got there and you felt like you knew everyone, just about everyone. And as you got to know people, you're like, wow. When you have that as a community of experiences, and then people get used to the little quirks that everyone has, and you have the proper internal governance that deals with, when attitudes flare up, that never allows things to seethe in the background, great and wonderful things will happen. When we based our community in equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, non-duality, with the dropping of expectations as the foundational rule, the understanding that we all live in a world that's a singularity but wants us to be a duality, and we will have that as an ongoing challenge of growth. And then we all understand it's not about what you think, it's about what you believe. And when everyone's sharing the common belief system of living the mystical life daily, how it comes through you, and how you manifest your mystical experience and do spiritual hygiene. If a whole community uses common spiritual hygiene, shares spiritual hygiene rituals on a community basis, great and mystical things happen.
Yeah, I'm getting shivers.
Right.
Yeah. I used to live in a community for many years. So I have some already experience, some of it very good, some of it a bit less, but I think the most important things, as you said, is the principle of non-hierarchical order and spiritual hygiene. And actually, I was thinking as well that these places might offer sanctuary for people that need inner alignment to themselves, not to be aligned by somebody, but a place that they can actually come back to who they are, their own light DNA. If they were going astray from it in their life, might be as well a kind of a healing place for them. Can it be?
Okay, so I have a number of ideas that are to build communities. When I worked with the New Earth Nation some years ago, it was about community buildings. They wanted to build 20 communities around the world.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that organization was just pretty much a paper tiger. They had lots of outstanding ideas, but they couldn't make anything really actually happen. I can make things happen. I have no problem doing that. So one of the ideas was to get a larger piece of land that was actually near a big city, and to build up to 500 tiny homes on it. Now, these would be concrete dome homes that were designed to bleed off negative energy and bring positive energy back into it based on the building design and structure. Now, this has been known about for centuries, that living in a dome-style home completely changes the energy. And then the type of glass you use, the type of heating that you use, the type of concrete itself that you use has a slightly magnetic resonance to it. You just put a small amount of magnetite powder into the concrete. Pretty damn simple. And you have a whole different living environment. If everyone's home uses the same magnetic resonance inside the concrete, and then you don't operate at the same cyclical hertz that they do, you actually make it a positive to the environment. So the grid itself, it can still plug into a big grid, but it doesn't give you dirty energy to your plugs.
Wow.
Okay, so that can be done. And what would those 500 tiny homes do? And the center of it would be a healing facility that would have 30 cranial sacral practitioners, 30 Watsu practitioners, people that are healers of healers of healers of healers, the ones that have already done the 1,000 clients, not the ones that are learning on their 30 or 31st. Okay?
Wow. Yeah.
And that community would turn over and heal and heal and heal. And you can heal the cancers. You can have the colonic systems in there. So you have your own little home to go into that's magnetically resonance and charged to the field. And all the other healing modalities would be there, like a spa resort, with acreage for you to move around on. I thought about purchasing an old golf course for that, actually, because there's so many golf courses that went out of business, and it's already formed and good stuff on it. All you got to do is, take the tees out and put the homes up on the greens.
Wow. Should be a forest around as well.
Well, most golf courses have beautiful stuff around them. See, it's all about running sewage, water, power, and sewage to them.
Yeah.
So you have to build them in clusters, and those clusters have to be able to flush toilets and get water to them. That's what makes a community. Now, when I had first started on this idea, 99% of the counties in the United States would blanket deny a tiny home community. In fact, I only think there's like 2 or 3 that are under approval as it is right now, as an actual community. Unless the homes have their own well or their own internal water, and that can be done too. You just have a water truck that goes through and keeps refilling it, but you're adding a whole different layer to sustainability. Okay? Most people, when you come in, you want to turn your power on, you want to know your water's good water. Tiny homes can become in all different shapes and sizes. There's these concrete dome ones that you can build them for finished $12,000. Okay, so all you got to do is put in, final furniture, stove and refrigerator and toilet. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I was all the time thinking about domes. I thought maybe about don't remember now the name, but probably in the USA it's better to do something not from wood.
No, not wood at all. There's other building materials beyond concrete. There are homes that are made out of shipping containers. So that is another concept that has been around for years and years and years. The way the car industry works, they produce shipping containers in Asia that are never intended to come back from Asia. They basically abandon them on the other side. So sometimes there's an excess of 10, 20, 30,000 in a whole coast. And then they all of a sudden sell them off for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and sometimes a little bit more, but mostly between $3,000 and $8,000, depending on the volume of containers that are there. And you can take one container that's 10 by 40, or you can take 2 containers and stack them on top of each other and have a house.
I know. There is a whole neighborhood for students in Israel that's done from that.
Right. So it's the counties allowing these communities to be built. And in fact, for less than $100,000, you can build a sample cluster of 8 of these tiny dome homes, 8 or 12 that you can fit on an acre. So an acre is 144 by 144. I believe it was 12. So yeah, 12 or 8. I think it's 8 because you had to add roads. Your roads had to be 10-foot roads. So it's 8 per acre you could put on.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, and then you can as well do your course of all the things that you're planning now. You can do as well.
Exactly.
The community.
And the same thing that it comes with the shipping container homes, because you can stack them and go up higher, you could have as many as 30 per acre. So 30 per acre needs a lot of water. Therefore, it has to have underground sewage, clean water going in and dirty water going out. To where? A facility. That's why you want to build it next to a city.
Right.
Okay? So when you're not building them next to cities, you must invest in your own water treatment plant, which then blows the budget out of any community. Okay?
Yeah, anyway, it's maybe even have some more things to live not far away in the wild, because not many people will reach there. Although this is my dream, but I know it might be a bit too romantico.
No, I think what you got to do is look at it in your own valuation. Could you raise $100,000 to make a sample one? I'm sure you could if you really put your mind to it. And I'm saying less than $100,000, you can put 8 tiny homes on a property, fully furnished. Each one could have individual wells, actually. Or if you build one well, they could all share off of one well if it was a good, because well shares are very common in the United States. The house that I grew up in, 35 families shared one big well. So well shares are very, very common.
Okay.
And then sewage is what? A septic tank.
Yeah.
Now, if each one has its own septic tank, you're adding about $8,000 to each value of each home. So you would then have a different value of the price of the septic tank that would have to go in and be built. So again, with less than $100,000, you can build an example 1 acre, 4, 5, 6 on a lot, and they're done, ready to be occupied. Just put up drapes.
Yeah, there are already 4 ladies that I know that wish to do this, and part of what I'm starting to actually actualize now in my life, as you say, as you proposed me before, is it's to treat more people. I started to learn Cranio level 2 when I came back to Israel.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just happened before I went. I heard that something really near my house starting to happen with me, and as well I have some idea, but maybe I'll not speak about it here. But about a 9 process time with people, that like a new birthing process.
You're creating your own modality.
Yeah, some kind of a modality which combine the water, the air, the earth, the fire. But I want to share it with more people. It's not something that only me will do. That's why community can come to it as well very nicely.
Yes. So Avatar, I've got to move on with the webcast.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you very, very much.
Yes.
I know many people wanted to hear about it.
Yes. All righty. Take it easy.
I will.
Now, we just had a wonderful conversation with Avatar, based on the experiences of the soul family energy, and then the putting together of communities. Many people who've been around listeners for a long time have heard me talk about communities and the governance that goes in them. Now, many of you have had experiences with your soul family members long before this show. And when soul family members come together, you work in a whole different way. It's where non-duality really comes into great and powerful benefit for yourself. Because your singularity selves have been manipulating the chess game of the duality to get you all to meet so you can have experiences, so that you can learn to create within this dream world as the singularity to have whole new levels of expressions, such as deja vu. Every one of you has probably had different levels of deja vu. Okay? How many of you are sports fans and heard a sportscaster say it's his first bat up as a professional versus the greatest pitcher in history, and he hits a home run? Or something else strange and unusual happens. Okay? Now that you understand the concept of non-duality in its most basic form, everyone is experiencing it, but they just don't know it. This is why you use it the name it to claim it system. By creating non-duality and your own mythos you create behind it, you'll be able to learn our perception is we live in a world of duality, but in actuality we don't. Your belief will determine if you are a singularity or a non-duality being. It's not about what you think, it is about what you believe. Whatever you believe in is true, and in that moment for you it is true, and it becomes your reality. When you allow stuff to become your reality, without the validation of experience behind it, you lose a tremendous amount of internal energies. And this is why living the mystical life daily is an out loud, name it to claim it, and self-discernment system. It is by design for you to record your own voice, to then go into meditative state at a future time and listen to your recordings and say, am I in power? Am I learning there? Am I passing on the essence of what these words are to me, so joy and happiness is filling my meditative state? Am I passing the legacy of discipline to myself, so I may be a more disciplined, self-illuminated master by accepting the love of my previous creations as the creations of this present? Okay. We live in a placebo belief truth system. Yes, we do. What you believe in is what you create. We are creating it all, and the universe is not working against you. Concepts are enough. You must believe and then act. We are not connected to universal wisdom. We are interconnected with universal wisdom. Faith is our direct link to the universal wisdom. Faith reminds us that we are more than we've heard, read, or studied. Faith reminds us only to look, listen, and trust the love and wisdom of the universal spirit working through us all. Faith does not require a belief in a religion. Only by learning to trust the love and intelligence working through us and all of creation, through the love and intelligence working through you and all of creation, this newfound trust will transform your perception and experience. You will find lessons and opportunities in every challenge. No matter what we feel or know, no matter what our potential gifts or talents are, only action brings them to life. Many of us understand concepts such as commitment, courage, and love, but we truly only know what we can do. Doing leads to understanding, and action turns knowledge into wisdom. Action teaches us to overcome both inertia and impatience by acting on our courage, clear intentions, and commitment. Every action or inaction contains the seeds of its opposition. There is a time for action and the action of inaction. Prayer is your process of finding strength, wisdom, and knowingness from the internal, eternal being that you know you are. Many know that you are more than you've heard, read, or studied. Prayer is very similar. We know ourselves at the fullest layer. Prayer is the way we make higher frequency friendships with the universal sources working through us all. Prayer doesn't need a religion or an esoteric system. Prayer can be no words or thousands of words. Prayer is a form of gratitude and love expressed from the divine co-creative self, manifesting a life walk that has unknown and known factors. Prayer assists us at making the unknown known by showing us how to get rid of fear or any other process that limits our ability to believe in our own self. Prayer is finding the integrity of heart-space truth, emanating unconditional love and the expressions of vibratory words to convey the essence of the I am to all that there is, was, and will be. Prayer and faith in showing us that we do not have to live in a world of duality. That if you believe, then that prayer becomes your reality. Allow it to become your reality. For within this reality becomes the next level of self-illumination. How many of you are excited about this webcast? How many of you are ready to take on more information? So I'm now going to give you a piece of homework to go and find the Sanctuary of All Souls, whether you've done it or not done it, whether you've printed it out or not printed it out, whether you've recorded in your voice or not. The homework from this webcast: can you do the Sanctuary of Souls once per day for the next 7 days? For those of you that do, will be a special teaching just for you, so you can get the sticker and the AAA. For those of you that don't, you're setting yourself up for the Saboteur, which was the beginning of this webcast teaching. All of you should have fired your inner saboteur and taking on this challenge of homework to do the Sanctuary of All Souls every day for 7 days until the next webcast. So we can go more in depth into that process to reveal more of what the Sanctuary of All Souls is as a teaching to heal the heart, the dream space, the ability to create prayers as an interconnected being, and the fortitude of living in this world. The Living the Mystical Life Daily online course is available. This is a 6-week mystical training course on how to become your own self-illuminated master. This is for everyone on the path of self-mastery, whether beginner or advanced. And once you enroll, you'll receive 1 module a week for 6 weeks to make sure that you're not totally overwhelmed, but are able to apply these teachings at your own pace, and best of all, you'll have access to this course for life. In the first week, I'm going to be covering the out loud name it to claim it process. I'll go into why it's important for you to do it in your own voice and why it's important to learn and discern your own in your own voice while in a meditative state, receiving your own wisdom. In week 2, you'll be covering understanding old cycles and habit patterns that no longer serve you and limit you, so you can't experience the joy of prayer or the opening of the spiritual journeying. In week 3, we dive deep into spiritual and meditative journeying, where you'll have an opportunity to perform a long-form test prayer. By week 4, you'll be ready to learning about multiple frequencies of time, how to balance yourself with sacred friendships, and learn what your heart has its own song. Week 6, you'll be dissolving the old shells, accepting ourselves as powerful incarnate beings of the now, clearing the duality of the dream time. And finally, in week 6, we'll wrap it up with the triathlon of mind, body, and spirit practice combined with heart space awareness. This spiritual triathlon will challenge you to accept your power. By the time you get to week 6, you'll be ready because of all the prior training, all for one price. And when you're ready to take up the challenge of learning at a new level, the course is always waiting there for you. So I want to thank everyone who's come to this Living the Mystical Life Daily webcast. We shall be back seeing who's done their homework for Sanctuary of All Souls. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.